All right.
Back again. You son of a bees.
You know what? I really love that music, man.
Did you miss it?
I did miss
you
it,
miss my music?
but I love it. I think it's my favorite part of the whole show.
So metal, bro.
It's so metal. Well, I don't know if you guys missed us, but we sure as fuck didn't miss you.
That's very true.
But we came back anyway, so
Yeah, it's true. We
we
did.
got a lot to talk about.
Guess so.
We're happy to be back. We missed you for real.
I'm in a whole new time zone.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around. You know, John had to go through the big move, and then, like, I don't know, a bunch of stuff needed to happen, I think, for us to come back. And here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Episode 105.
There's always that nice little period in life where you move to a new place and you don't have any internet or anything. That's where I was at. Yeah.
Yes.
For a week, I didn't have any of my furniture here either. Now I have furniture. It's like a home. It's almost like a person lives here.
The only thing that I can detect that's different is the color of paint, and that there's a door behind you that's on the other side of you now. It used to be on, I believe the door was on the other side of the room, whatever that is. You're right.
Yep, and it was wooden.
So there you go.
Yep.
That's exciting, man.
Got a new door.
All right. So, WAL, Travis, PAF, nothing happened while we were gone.
No. So that's it. Episode 105 in the books.
All right. So we talked about having some guys from WAL on, you know, Bart Wood, who we've had on before. But I'm kind of with you on this one, John. I'm not sure, you know, we need to be talking to those guys right now.
Nope.
I feel like, I mean, this is a big topic of discussion while we were gone. So they're back and they announced their format with the super matches. It's not going to be broadcast on Turner. Like we sort of, it was insinuated that it was going to be broadcast. It's not going to be broadcast. It's going to be live streaming, which is a big difference.
Mm-hmm. We live stream. We live stream.
And you have to really seek it out in order to find it. It's not going to be something that the average person just stumbles across like they did on ESPN or AMC before Game of Arms. So I don't know. I'm not sure how much visibility it's really going to give us.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's, listen, it's something. I think it's very positive. It's just that there's so many unknowns, and I am now, I know someone who has a match coming up in it. I asked a couple of basic questions.
Mm-hmm.
What are the rules? What are this? What are that? And they haven't been told. So that's a big mistake. Plus, one thing I noticed too is that, and again, I've been so busy these last, weeks, I might have missed something. But I don't even see any weight classes attached to any of these matches.
Mm-hmm.
That's one mark of professionalism that in every combat sport we all recognize, even as just people, just as civilians, people who are just fans. They have no interest in becoming any whatever sport you're talking about, but they understand that there are weight classes. That's not a great sign. And maybe that there are weight classes, they just haven't been announced or whatever. But even if there's a lack of an announcement, it's kind of strange. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. There's red flags, and for some reason, I don't see them going away right now.
I tend to be an optimistic person, as you know, in general, regardless of what everybody thinks. And I mean, I'm hopeful, but there's a lot of things. Like the video that Steve Kaplan released, there was a lot of problems I had with it. First of all, I've invited this guy on the show 10,000 times, and he's never answered.
I guess he doesn't want to be famous.
The thing that bothers me about it is that he doesn't engage with the community directly. He engages through the specific athletes that he talks to, but not with the community. And that bothers me. The other thing that bothers me is his description of the previous year as having some highs and lows. To me, own it, man. You come out and say we fucked up. You know, we had some big ideas. They didn't come through. We screwed it up. Now we have to make up for it. And that's what we're going to try to do. Don't come out and tell me you had some highs and lows. That's not an accurate description of it. I want them to succeed. I liked them before, even though, you know, all the different things we talked about on here. But it was bringing visibility to the sport, and that's a good thing. And I hope they do succeed, and I hope they do bring a lot of visibility. But I just wish they would handle it I wish they would handle it like, I mean, Steve Cappell in particular, I wish he would be more of a man about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I understand that. And, you know, I watched as much as I could, but, you know, within the first 10 seconds, I feel like it's time for me to address the community. Who the fuck asked you to address what? Mm-hmm. Like, who are you to address the community? What community? Mm-hmm. The WAL community? The arm wrestling community? Like, sorry, it was here before. No offense, dude, but it was here before. Now, I just want something to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, that's at a certain point, you're just like, would something please catch on? Mm-hmm. But there has to be a certain level of patience, and there has to be a certain level of credibility to the structure. Mm-hmm. And that's where we keep falling off.
So do you think everybody's nuts for signing back up? The people that, you know, the matches that have been announced, do you think that they're chasing like the proverbial pot of gold?
I don't know. I mean, I think you're going to find, if you have a conversation with most of those people, that they're like, listen, they called me up. They're going to give me X, Y, and Z. I said yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No risk on their part.
Well, yeah, I think I don't think anybody's, you know, we're going to be millionaires in the next 5 years. I don't think anybody has that thought. I don't think there might be a few people chasing that kind of popularity and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think realistically, everybody kind of knows, like, it's either going to be a pretty good time period, you know, a period of time where it was like, okay, this was kind of fun. I kind of cleaned up a little bit. And then, you know, I mean, that's kind of worst case, is that it's just a short period of time where it was a couple of good things happen. But
I don't know, man. I feel the part that, like I said, when you speak of the arm wrestling community and the fact that it exists worldwide, there's a lot, I mean, doesn't talk about this, you know, with the Europa pulling out of the USAA series, which is, in my opinion, a pretty huge blow. And I feel like, to me, I feel that a lot more than WAL leaving, personally, because, and I'll be honest, I took for granted that it was going to be around. You know what I mean? Sure. Because it has been around, and I've been able to go. I can't go to that many events, but I always go to at least one, and I feel bad for not going to more now. But it was a spectacle, you know. They didn't get the numbers they should have at those events, but it was always, you walk in, you're like, wow, it's a big hall. There's thousands of people walking around doing stuff, and arm wrestling's part of it. And I love that. It makes me feel like I'm at a real tournament. And being on TV, I don't know. You know, if you're in a small room with 100 people that got free passes to go in there and sit around clapping, they don't even know what the fucking sport is, that's not as exciting to me.
Right.
And I don't think that doesn't build a community. A community was already built. And I feel like if you're going to be successful in any sport, you have to have some kind of commitment from the people that you are drawing your athletes from. It's one thing, you know, you can pull 10 guys out who are, you know, you feel like are the best people that are going to be on TV. But I mean, the rest of us do, in fact, make a fucking difference, and we do matter, and we do have a lot of friends, and we have a lot of sway, and we have a lot of knowledge. And to completely ignore it, which is basically what's happened, is a mistake, you know? And I feel like a lot of the things that they did wrong were because they only had a few guys that know what they're doing involved in it. And we have no idea how much say Bart had, and, you know, James Reed and other people who were actually arm wrestlers who were hired by that company, what kind of say they had in the decision making. My guess would be not much.
Yeah, I mean, you can say, you know, if somebody's not going to listen, you can say whatever you want, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that confuses me is that there's already something to build off of. You know, you don't build the house without the foundation. Mm-hmm. The foundation's good, and it's been there for a long time. Mm-hmm. We've been through, you know, we've brought it up a million times before. WAF, USAF, USAA, Leonard and Denise, all these great promoters. Frank and Karen, Bill Collins, these people who have been around for a long time doing the whole thing. They've made these mistakes before. That's why we've made these mistakes. We've improved on it, made a better process. Found another mistake. Fixed the process, came out better in the end. That's how you build this whole thing. First, it always confused me why we just decided to throw all that away because that's going to be better. It's of course not better.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to build something great.
I agree with that. I agree with all of it. And, this will, it's going to make a few people's lives better. I hope that the, small number of arm wrestlers that are involved, male and female, make some money off of it. That's something. That's good.
Yeah.
But it's a shame, the model, as you just said, the model already exists, and to ignore it is something. I feel like it guarantees that it's not going to work, or there's going to have short legs, particularly if it's only being streamed, because you're never going to, the audience that you're going to be relying on now is us. And if you're not engaging with us, we're going to tune in to watch the matches because we care about the people in them. We know the people in them, and we're interested. But the chances of us getting really excited about it and interested in it and sharing it with all our friends are less. We want to see all the matches on Vendetta. We watch them. We pay the pay-per-view for them. But it's still a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of people in this country who have any knowledge of it. And that's because it's not broadcast.
Right.
So I think the streaming part it's not good. I don't see how it's going to succeed permanently with their current format, with no engagement whatsoever with any of the people that are in the community. So anyway, that being said, you know what match I'm super psyched to see, man?
What?
Carteret and Lorette. I think that's going to be so interesting because they both have their little lock spot. And really, it's in this, where Jerry wants to go is where Devin will catch him. Because then it's like, what happens from that point?
Yeah. I agree.
I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and they think that Carteret at the moment has too much horsepower for him. He's going to go right through him.
I agree.
Which is possible.
I do agree with that right now.
Devin is a lot bigger, but I don't know what his strength is like.
Well, bigger than he's ever been, you mean?
No.
Bigger than Jerry?
Than recent history, I think.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I thought you meant bigger than Jerry. I'm like, ugh. But no, I think Jerry, what is that in May?
I don't remember.
I think it's May. So I think it's like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that.
No, it's April. I think it's Oh wait, is Jerry in the second one or the first one? He's in the first one. So it's okay. Second one. Yeah,
second
May,
one.
Yeah. All right.
I think so. If it's May, I think that's not a whole lot of time to get much stronger.
No, you're right.
And Jerry is so fucking strong. Mm-hmm. And the thing is too, there's a lot of things I think about that match. I think, and I'm fans of both those guys. I know them both. I think Jerry's too strong, but more importantly, I think the thing with Jerry is that everybody wants to take control, and Jerry gives it away, and it's devastating when he does it. You know what I mean? You go after all this stuff, and the arm wrestling 101, what we've all been taught, what we all teach everybody else when they're brand new, and Jerry goes so far against that, and he's so strong in it that it's really hard to. You can know how to stop it, but stopping it's a whole different story. Plus, man, when you're aiming to go to a certain position, and the other guy is aiming to go there too, to allow you to.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting.
Well, technique works really well against people who are trying to fight you. Does that make sense? So, if somebody's trying to hook me and I'm trying to top roll them, if I have good top roll technique, it's a benefit for me because I'm fighting against the angle that they're presenting me. Right. Jerry's not going to do that. If you say, I'm going to go top roll Jerry goes, okay. Not only will you top roll me, I'm going to give my hand away. And you go back, perfect, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
It's such a unique...
It is completely unique.
Situation, but there's also another unique situation in that. I don't know, is there any mention on the format? Is it best 3 out of 5? Is it 6 rounds? Is it 8 rounds? Right. I don't know. Here's the thing about Jerry, and it's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Jerry has damn good endurance over a super match, which is something also that Devin is not used to having against him.
True.
Devin's usually the guy who is like, there's no if he stops the match and he puts a burn on you, it's just going to keep getting easier. I don't know if that's the case with Jerry. I think Devin's endurance is better than Jerry's, but Jerry's not going to entertain. He's not going to entertain the technique side of things. He's going to bulldoze into his spot. Now, where after that it's going to be so interesting. Yeah. It's going to be so damn interesting.
People are saying it's best 3 out of 5.
benefits Jerry.
So that does benefit
Jerry. It benefits Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a few people on here, Frank Hurst and others, saying they're not going to watch it because they're pissed off about the WL. See, that's the part that I'm surprised there's not more people who have just said, fuck that, I'm not watching it. Because, you know, as we mentioned, if you remember the show we did when it was canceled at the last second, people were super pissed for a long time about it because they had, especially international athletes who had already purchased Sweden, spent thousands of dollars, and got totally screwed. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's interesting to me. Like Nanestad has the match with Rob Vigent, which is another interesting one. But you know, some of these guys, international athletes, are being swayed back in. So I mean, and we don't know. Maybe he's getting his airfare paid and promised X amount of dollars to make it worthwhile. But I don't know. It surprised me that for the most part, the reaction about them coming back was either lukewarm or positive.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I mean, maybe with the general public, maybe a little bit, but not. I mean, if somebody gives you a call and says, "Hey, let's be a part of this," most people are going to do it. Because there's plenty of people out there that are pissed because they didn't get picked. Mm-hmm. And then there's then you know too that there's people that are like this. Fuck WAL. Fuck that shit. Fuck. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, WAL. Yeah. I'm all WL rules, man. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. You know that's the way it goes. That's just the way everything goes. So, I mean, there are of course people.
100% fucking true.
There are of course people that will say no matter what. But if somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, show up here for $1,000," most people are going to change their tune very fast. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. So I'm not shocked.
It's a very good point.
The only thing you can hope is because we're you know friends with these guys. We know them well. We know how hard they work through their careers. You just hope that they make some money and don't get hurt in the process.
Right. And I mean, maybe that's the correct attitude towards it, that we look at it just as an opportunity for our friends who are pulling to have some pretty fun matches, ones we haven't seen before. Like the RVJ Nanestad hasn't been seen before either, so it's kind of cool. You know, we want to see these guys pull, and we're going to get to see it, and that probably is the correct way to look at it.
It's the most positive way to look at it. The thing is, too, it's just I hope, you know, I'm really interested in the rules. Mm-hmm. What rules they're going to use? I mean, there's nothing that says.
Let's be honest, man. The rules aren't going to make a difference anyway. Whatever rules they have, it's probably going to be hugger mugger like it was last time. It's going to be whatever the fuck they want to do.
Right,
that's what they're going to do.
Which is the biggest shame because you know, adjusting the rules to the audience doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
never has made sense in any sport. Doesn't make sense.
Well, you hear about every day with major professional sports. They do all these rules that piss everybody off. Everybody keeps watching anyway because they've already committed to the sport permanently, which we don't have in our audience.
Well, let's be really honest. You know, most people out there who are arm wrestlers, or I don't want to say most people who are arm wrestlers, but there's a lot of arm wrestlers that like football more than arm wrestling in a lot of ways. Well, there's people that'll stay home from practice to watch football, which is fucking crazy to me. But anyway.
That is crazy.
But let's be honest. How many more rules does football have than arm wrestling?
Yeah.
It's a lot more, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot more. And what's the best part about a game? What's the very best part of a game is when the ref fucks up. When you have something to talk about the next day. So, I mean, if you can keep track of all these rules in these other sports that you don't even play, people will keep track of the rules of arm wrestling. It's pretty damn simple.
Yeah, there's really very little in the way of positive and good arguments that make any sense in arm wrestling, yet we still spend all of our time whining about it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because the thing is, it's not as much as a reflection. It's a bad reflection on the athletes in the audience's eyes, which is not fair to the athlete because we just give this is the rules. Okay, we have to fight within that rule set, but it makes the refs look really bad. It makes good refs look really bad. Because how the fuck do you ref it?
Well, we have some personal experience with that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have bad rules, it's very, very, very difficult to be a good ref.
And I've heard the argument of, well, Leonard used those rules with Todd and Herman.
He also said he'd never do it again.
But nobody ever fucking talks about too. Todd and Herman said, "Yeah, we'll just arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Get two guys who don't want to give up anything, and it'll look just as bad." It is what it is. It makes refs look terrible because it's a completely uncontrollable situation for the ref.
Yeah.
And then someone has to answer for it. Who's going to answer for it? The referee. And you have the audience saying, "Wait a minute, why'd that guy start 2 inches off the center? Didn't they just say at the beginning of the show that you have to be in the center of the table?" And then we all look and go, Yeah, but not that guy.
That's only the rule. I mean, it's not really a rule. It's more like a suggestion.
Yeah, the suggestion book.
A loose set of guidelines which you can follow if you feel like it. But if you don't want to, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
As long as it's exciting.
I was talking to Doug Allen last week, and he told me he was reffing some match. I don't think it was anything to do with WAR or anything. It just made me laugh. He goes, I was reffing a match, and I don't even know who the guys were. He goes, they were so bad. He stopped and he goes, guys, do you want to just go out in the parking lot and fight? That's what this is at this point. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't even a sport anymore. And that's what it feels like after, especially without editing, these kind of things. Like, who the fuck's going to put up with that?
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Let's talk about the USAA thing again. Because Denise put up a post, I think it was Denise, about arm wrestlers not supporting those events. And I think it's worth discussing because those events in general had everything that people want, which is money prizes, big, exciting venues, and, nice medals, very consistent reffing, and
longevity
and reliability. If they said they were going to happen, they were going to happen. And I've attended a number of them. I know you have too. And the numbers were definitely not what they should be. Why? I mean, what is wrong with us as a community that we can't support really positive long-term events that offer money, that offer good prizes, that offer recognition because the titles are significant, they mean something? What the fuck's wrong with us,
Shiny toy. The shiny new toy, man. That's why.
But, okay, yeah, I understand that you get excited about certain things.
Yep.
But what really do any of us have to show for any of those little shiny toys that we chase down at the end of the day?
No, totally. 100%.
We have nothing to show for it.
No.
We basically just shot ourselves in the foot meaninglessly. And I think a lot of people probably just took it for granted. It's going to be there. Those are good events. If I want to go do one, I can do one. It's like, that's not how it works. Europa is a big company. They have all these different sports going on. If one sport doesn't draw, they ditch them. I mean, that's normal. That's business. You can't hold it against them. You can't hold it against us, though. And again, Travis has his nationals. Laterio has his nationals. We have 3 other nationals. It's getting to a point where it's a little bit ridiculous. It's not that any of them are bad people or don't deserve to have nationals.
Everybody thinks mom and dad are gonna be around forever.
Yeah, and they're not. And this is what happens.
And you know what? It feels like sometimes that arm wrestlers act the age of their arm wrestling career. Sometimes it feels like people who have been in it for 3 years act like fucking 3-year-olds. In terms of, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And then we saturate the market with all these promotions and everything that, they're flashes in the pan in terms of history anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't, again, you just ignoring that foundation. It doesn't make any sense. But I guess people don't.
I think you posted it. I don't know if it was you who posted it or if we were just tagged on it, but basically it was something along the lines of the often mangled George Bush quote about, fool me once,
yeah.
Shame on me, fool me. No, what is it? I'm messing it up too.
We were a tag.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And we're in the shame on me section of this discussion at this point.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, like I think in that post, I think it was something I commented to where, at this point, if anything negative happens with, WAL, whatever, it's completely up to the participants. It's completely their fault. And, I hope, like we said in the beginning, we hope it's good. But if anything bad happens, what were you thinking? It's just the way it is.
Herman just said there's too many events, period.
Yeah, agreed. Yes.
Let's talk about that for a minute because, if you add up all of USAF and AAA events in a single year, that's, 3 events? Because I think AAA they do their nationals and they do either 1 or 2 state tournaments.
Yeah, I think they do Florida.
USAF does 1 event.
USAF, yep. They should do more. But.
They should do more. As we talked about on, I think on the last show, that we should have a USAF state tournament in every state, and then regionals, and then divisionals, and then nationals. But that's not going to happen. But the pipe dream. But NAP, That's Bill Collins' thing in UAL. If you add all of those up, I would be interested to see what the total number of so-called big events are across the country and what the spacing is and whether or not that's too much or not. I mean, how many athletes do we have and what can that number of athletes actually support? Because I think it's not necessarily that we have too many events. I think that people don't fucking show up to pull.
That happens too.
I don't think that, if they're not going to USAA because they're going to a local event that same day, I'm sure that does happen. But how often is it that versus people not wanting to go and lose?
Well, of course there's that. But, it is an oversaturation. There is. Because there's times where, there's an event 2 or 3 weeks after another event or, people need their rest, all these things. People also just, they don't have the money to do it sometimes. So, but the thing is, if you have an event 2 hours away on the same day as another tournament, it's going to take it away. It's going to take away entries. It's just, it is. It's going to take it away. And eventually your classes where, listen, I didn't start that long ago. I started
I just think it's weird to be complaining about too many events. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, it is weird if there's a lot more arm wrestlers.
Well, that's what the problem is. Do we have a shortage of arm wrestlers or do we have a shortage of competitors?
Well,
because when I go to practice, there's always 30 freaking people there. And then at the tournament, only about 5 of those guys end up showing up at the tournament. Everybody else is working.
The thing is, well, the thing is, too, if you distinguish between novice and or even just amateur and open class tournaments, it might be different, too. But we always have to throw all of them in together because we need entries. We need entries because there's not enough people that show up or there's not enough pullers. It's one of the two.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that then. Okay, so Chris agrees with Herman and a few. Yeah, it looks like pretty much everybody agrees with you guys. So
did Herman. Herman's saying there's too many events.
Too many events. Chris is agreeing and Sean Latimer is agreeing too. But I mean, I don't know. See, I feel like if you have a significant, I think maybe it's not the number of events; it's the lack of organization between the events or the lack of coordination between the events. I mean, again, at Callan's climbing events, there usually be about 20 kids in his class, which is more than you would have in arm wrestling, but not like a huge number more. The same day, all across the country, there'll be a tournament in every region, and the regions are separated usually by 2 states. So there's a lot of coordination, but there's a crap load of events. There's way more of those than there is of arm wrestling because there's basically one every weekend, and you have to do 2 to qualify for regionals, and then regionals you get to place top 10 or whatever and go on that way. So is it really that we have too many events or that we have no coordination whatsoever between the number of events that we have?
Oh, yeah, there's certainly no coordination.
Which is the bigger problem, though. Because I feel like I think it's a bad idea to have less tournaments. Because if you have less tournaments, it's harder to get people involved. If they're not going to be competing for 3 or 4 months, the next event near you is months and months away. It's harder to get people excited about it. I feel like we're looking at it from the wrong angles, and there's not enough people at these events because there's too many events. We just need more freaking people. So what do we need to do to get them there? We all love this sport. It's fucking amazing to watch. How many times have you brought somebody and they think it's incredible for the first 2 hours and they get bored, right? Because it goes on too long. But people love it. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. It's like, combat and all that kind of stuff. I feel like, if we could figure out a way, like we always talk about in the show, to have a better organized system and a way to recruit and keep people like other sports do, which I think comes from consistency and coordination and organization. That's the kind of stuff that makes people feel like they're part of something, not just running around in bars every few months.
Yeah, I think coordination's good, and I think if you really want to build that staying power with arm wrestlers, there needs to be a different way to climb. And I do think, and it's not necessarily realistic because I'm not a promoter, so I'm not looking at it from like, well, you don't know what goes into it. You're absolutely right. I don't. But it's really tough to have a short tournament with that includes everybody. And what I mean, everybody has different levels of arm wrestling: novice, amateur, open. If you want a big tournament with really good quality arm wrestlers, then you can't have a bunch of tournaments. Mm-hmm. Because guys who have been pulling for 10 years and they're looking to beat a small pool of people, because there's let's be honest. When you first start, you want to beat everybody.
Right.
The further you get along, there's people you don't give a fuck about beating anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because either you've done it or they're you've been in for 10 years, they've been in for a year. You don't have your eye on them. You want to beat a certain list of people. So entering a tournament and all that stuff isn't necessarily important to you unless that person's there or one of those people is there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how hard it is to get, you line up 10 people and have them all in the same room at the same time. Good fucking luck. You could have those 10 people in the same state and they're not going to have it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be really great to have, because the problem is getting people to stay is a lot of guys go to a tournament their first time ever, they get smacked and never come back.
Yeah.
Which is very bad because, as we all know, there have been people in the novice class for 5 fucking years. And this guy comes off the street and loses to that guy and goes, "Oh, I can't even beat the novices. I'm never doing this again."
Right.
It's like that guy's not a novice.
Again, lack of control. I mean, there's no organization, there's no method of controlling that sort of thing. Keep people from haunting the novice class for 5-6 years.
Right. No documentation. When did you start?
Aubrey
start?
Reese just posted that Erie has a Bajan qualifier on March 31st, Chafee tournament on April 14th, and USAF Nationals on April 7th. So it's basically 3 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
And so here's a good question. Let's talk about the Bajan one because we haven't talked about that at all. My opinion on the Travis Bajan event, and he's putting one on up here in a few weeks, which I plan on going to at Buffalo Wild Wings. And to me, it looks like this is designed so that Travis can win $50,000. That's what it looks like to me.
Well done.
Because if you imagine the way he's structured with that, at first appearance looks cool. Like the 2 lightest guys go against each other, the 2 heaviest guys, and then work their way down to the middle. But if you think about it for 5 seconds, the lightest guy is going to work harder and harder for every match he wins. Heavier guys are going against lighter and lighter and lighter people for every match he wins. So the system is literally designed so that Travis has a really good chance of walking home with $50,000. So my question is, why would you go to that tournament instead of one of these other 2? Or why would you even acknowledge it? Knowing that. What is the point of paying $50 per arm to go to that tournament when you have nationals the week after, which could qualify you for Worlds?
Right.
I mean, to me, that's insane. Is the right word, I think?
Yeah, well, people like to be cool. That is part of it.
What's cool about it? That's what I want to know.
A name. I'm being honest with you. I mean, it is what it is. High school. We've been in high school before, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. But the thing is, just in general, take the names out of it. Tournament. Seriously? How does anybody win?
Mm-hmm.
How does anybody win in that?
Mm-hmm.
Just having any tournament. It doesn't matter what the name is to it. 3 in a
row.
I
like the idea of if I think what should have happened, and we're not talking about just anybody, but if you lucked into $125,000 to run a tournament, to me it's like, let's announce a date and tell everybody, come here on August whatever, because there's going to be $100,000 to win. We're going to have these 5 weight classes. Show up and prove you're the best. Everybody would be talking about it all year long. And the people that are organizing the festival would probably end up hosting one of the biggest arm wrestling events ever as a result. And instead, they're going to get Travis and 40 other guys. Mm-hmm. All of them are good arm wrestlers. I see the list. I don't know how accurate. Great arm wrestlers. I just think that they probably know that Travis has an exceptionally good chance of winning at least lefty. But I don't know. It's frustrating to me because it's not that I hate Travis or I hate anybody in the sport, because I think everybody has the right to go out for themselves and try to make money and do the best they can for the sport, and I don't begrudge him for that. But I do begrudge us as a community for allowing things like what happened with USAA to happen and allowing the WAL to sneak back in and take over a portion of the sport again without any kind of hey, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're better than that as a group.
We're not.
We don't. Unfortunately. I think we are, though. We just don't ever act for whatever reason. We just accept it. Whatever happens, we accept it. We move on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is sad. It's definitely sad. Like I think I told you, this is the first year I've really ever thought of like, man, I don't know if I want to do this shit anymore.
And see, that's sad, man. We think about it. You talk about a lot of people have quit for various reasons, and that's a shitty reason to have to quit because of stupidity, not because, oh, damn, I can't, I'm too injured, I'm too sore, or whatever, I don't love it anymore. But to quit because you're sick of all the annoying shit that comes along with it is, that's sad. You know what I mean? And that shouldn't be part of our sport or any sport. I mean, that means that the positive aspects, of which there are many, there's a lot of people watching right now that have been arm wrestling for 30, 40 years that are, literal demonstrations of the value of being involved in this as long as they have. People like you shouldn't be like, you know what, fuck it, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, and because I've talked about it with, I talked about it with Megan before, and I'm like, man, I just don't know if I want to keep doing it. And she's like, well, you're just so happy when you go to train. When you're at practice and stuff, you're just so. I'm like, yeah, and I don't think I'd ever stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not arm wrestling. Arm wrestling rules. I love it. I love every part of it. I love training with people. I love teaching people. I love all that stuff. But the sport of arm wrestling, Jesus, sometimes, man. Sometimes it's hard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it gets into this little area, like I was just saying, and you can't begrudge people for wanting to make a living, but it's like sometimes that the fact that there isn't an overarching organization in our sport in North America anywhere allows people who are trying to make money for themselves, which they have a right to do, to completely interfere with the sport as a whole. And that, I think, whether it's the number of events or that particular aspect of the number of events, that's the problem. Like, if you take out the whole number, maybe it is too many, but if 50% of those events are things like the Beijing qualifier, then that has a detrimental impact on the sport for a number of reasons. One, we're having one up here in a few weeks. I don't expect there's going to be more than like 15, 20 people that show up. So if you're trying to sell your sport to various places that would host it, and you bring 20 people and they make an extra grand that day instead of an extra 15 or 20 grand, it's not that attractive to them. So that pulls away from it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, there's events on either side, like there is in Erie, that pulls away from it. And again, that goes back to me to a complete devoid area of coordination and organization. I mean, every real sport has that, and we have zero. And it makes us look stupid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's just the value of it. Here's a question for you, Josh. I don't know how you feel about most things in life in terms of this regard. If everybody can do it, if everybody can just step up and do it within the short period of time, do you want to do it? Or are you interested in doing something that's a small percentage of people are really good at? I find more, just for myself as a personal, like, I want to build this thing. I want to become good at this. I don't want anybody just be able to walk up and do something.
Right.
In terms of...
I'm with you there. I think I respect hard work and time put in. So and I agree with you. That is one of the attractive parts about our sport in general, other than the genetic freaks like Brzenk. People can't just walk in and dominate.
Right. So, I want it to be hard. I don't need this thing to be any easier. Mm-hmm. Everything over the last, we'll say, what is it, 2018? I just had to look for that, by the way. The last 4 years has been nothing but trying to make this sport easier for competitors. But why? Why? There are children that can follow easier rules in arm wrestling. There are harder rules in arm wrestling. There are children that can do it in other sports. Mm-hmm. For some reason, we had to. That's the first part that we just started just destroying. We just started destroying it. The value of the sport, the value of that. This is not particularly easy. Do you still want to be here? Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. We took a group of people that we said, this sport is very difficult. It hurts. It's not easy to do. And they went, ugh. And we said, okay, we'll make it easier. And they said, oh, all right. The problem is that those people leave anyway.
Yeah.
You make it a little easier, and they're like, well, it's still kind of hard. I'm like, right. So those people leave. it doesn't have. It's beyond me why we would take such a simple thing that had such a good foundation and such a good process and gut it, and then it affects the rest of the process.
It's like a gold rush is what it is. New people come into the sport and they see how awesome it is and like, holy shit, nobody's tried to make millions of dollars off this, and it's got to be possible. Look how much fun this is. This is incredible. What a great atmosphere. These athletes are insane. And then they try it and it doesn't work. And then another guy comes by and tries it. And we all, even though lemmings don't really run off cliffs, if they did, that would be us. We get so excited about, oh, this is going to be on ESPN now. This is going to be awesome. We're all going to be famous. I'm going to be walking around down the street. People are going to recognize me. Oh, I saw you on ESPN. So we like run towards it. And then it gets yanked away from us. At the same time, there's another bell jingling over here. So we go run towards that. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, you get all these other events sitting there like, hey, if you come to my event, you get to go to Worlds, win a world title.
Right.
We don't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, what the heck, man? I don't know.
Well,
but speaking of that, Nationals is in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is that at some point in the road, and I don't know when, maybe it was before I even started, being the baddest man on the planet did not matter anymore. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. That's not the goal anymore. Mm-hmm. You start off saying, I want to be the best guy that's ever been in my weight class. Mm-hmm. Or just period, I want to be the best guy. I want to be the fucking best. And at a certain point, that changes. Now, why it changes, I don't know. I guess there's probably, 10 different reasons why. Everybody's different. Yeah. But there's a large group of people out there that are very good arm wrestlers that have no interest in being the very best. Mm-hmm. That's sad to me.
I agree with you. It is sad.
I mean, maybe they're looking to be the best version of themselves, but and that's commendable for sure. Mm-hmm. But somewhere along the line, they lost it. They don't really care about being the best anymore.
You know what I was thinking of just listening to this discussion that we're having is semi-pro football players. I'm sure you know some. I have a bunch of friends who do it. Those guys buy their own uniforms. They get paid nothing. I think that, like my friends who do it, the only thing they get is a free bus ride to the next game. They go out there, they get their asses kicked, they're constantly injured, all their shit's beat up. And these guys don't want to quit. They keep doing it. 45 years old, 50 years old, they're still out there getting tackled and loving it. And that's considered to be a gritty sport like ours is. Where's our grit? Why do we need to have all this stuff dangled before us in order to try as hard as we can?
Right.
How come other sports that we respect can do that and people are doing it for free, basically? But for us, we need to have extra stuff. Why is that? If we're really as gritty as we pretend we are, why do we need that?
Well, yeah. Just because you can go sideways real hard does not make you tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't make you gritty. It just doesn't. Point. I mean, people get the misconception that that's the case, but it is not the case.
That's actually a really good point.
This is what it is.
I don't know. We have these events in this country which are incredible. Like Arnold's comes to mind, which is probably our biggest event that you can rely on happening every year. And it's I'm surprised that they don't have to turn people away, to be honest with you, because you're going to get some really high level international talent that you're not going to see unless you go to Worlds. So there's an opportunity with limited weight classes in one arm to go see how you fare. And you can legitimately say that, if you win Arnold's in any weight class, you are a serious force in the sport.
Especially the last 2 years.
I know. Holy with all these guys coming over from Kazakhstan and Ukraine and stuff like that. It's like these guys are the real deal, man. I mean, why isn't Denise and Leonard having to say, sorry, we can't take any more people?
Yeah.
And why is USAF Nationals, which is the only event that gives you the opportunity to go face the best in the world in a tested event, not filled up?
Well,
why?
We can't we can't talk about testing, can we? Oopsie daisy. But that, I mean, there is that, of course, but no, it's just,
Yeah, here's something to pause I want to talk to you about. I don't know if you are in the loop of this or not, John, because I don't know if you have as many cool contacts as I have. But
I do not, for sure.
Chad Eckert had come up with a really great idea to some other people, and Paul Lynn just brought it up, and I was going to bring it up tonight. I just forgot. Anyway, he's trying to establish an East Coast youth league for arm wrestling, where we'll do youth-only events that have both age groups and weight classes, and we'll all run them in our local areas, and try to do the best we can to recruit from various schools around elementary, high schools, all that kind of stuff, to try to develop a team that we could send to Worlds. And I think it's super awesome. I think it's a great idea, and everybody's excited about it, and I hope it works. Because I think, if we can develop some serious youth teams, they'll become serious adult teams, and they will not accept the fact that we have no organization. And maybe the USAF will become a much bigger deal, and there will be state titles, and all these little dreams we keep talking about will start happening.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Wouldn't it be?
Get them young. Get them young. That's for sure.
You're going to be involved because you're on the East Coast, so just get ready. You'll probably be in charge of the Allentown team.
I keep forgetting I'm on the East Coast.
You're on the East Coast again.
I'm an hour in the future compared to what I was. 1 hour smarter.
1 hour smarter. Well,
or dumber, however you look at it.
Denise just posted that the Arnold is at its max, and they may have to start turning athletes away. I think that's Chris Gobby, him with the same joke over and over again. I still love you for it, though, Chris, anyway. What was I saying? I got distracted by his pedophile joke. Yeah. So he's saying Arnold is almost full, which I think is cool. Now imagine, because that has a series of qualifiers. You have to go to a USAA event that's officially an Arnold qualifier to go. And people do go to those events specifically because they want to go to Arnold's. We should have the same thing for USAF. And if you just did those two, and they became, like, you couldn't go to USAF Nationals unless you had attended a qualifier. I mean, that would be one additional layer of organization. I feel like it would have an impact,
Yeah, it would, and I think with the climate right now, I think it would be a negative one. Which is really, I mean, that doesn't feel good to say, but I do think so.
It might.
Because right now you can just show up. Right now you can just walk in. Hey, where do I sign up?
Yeah, but that part sucks. I don't like that part, man.
No,
I really don't like that part. I want it to be like you earn your way there.
I understand.
I feel like that's how it should be. Best 2 people from each state get to go, or best 4 people from each state get to go. And if you don't go, you don't go. But at least you qualified,
Yeah, I 100%. I get what you're saying.
Like I said before on the show, I would rather know if I went to Nationals and I got 30th place that I can say I'm 30th best clean athlete in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you can win it and say, well, I was the best guy that showed up.
Yep. That's true.
You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean.
So, I don't know. It's a goal. And I know everybody is kind of negative about having goals, but I feel like if we keep talking about it, eventually somebody smarter than us is going to figure it out. Because it ain't going to be us. I disagree, Herman. Herman says qualifiers will finish off the USAF for good. I don't think so, man. I mean, I feel like every other sport does it. Why can't we? I think you're right that it would have an immediate negative impact on it.
It would,
but it's like, so you have to ride shit out sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is, what's difficult about the USAF is that it's, from what I understand anyway, self-funded. Right? That's hard. That is fucking hard, because that becomes very difficult to say, hey, let's flip this business model on its head. And you're like, well, who's going to fund that? Well, we are. Well, we need to not do that then. You know what I mean? Well,
what you do is you don't have money prizes. The USAF qualifiers, the money goes to the USAF so they can put on the big nationals. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Simple as that.
So actually,
that's what happens.
So you're actually introducing the idea of having actual USAF tournaments.
Correct.
Right, because right now we don't have that.
Right. We have USAF tournaments that qualify for the USAF Nationals. The entry fees that you pay into the USAF tournaments go to sponsor the Nationals, pay for all the rest, pay for the tables, all that kind of stuff, so nobody's paying out of pocket. You set it up as a non-profit like, USA Climbing is. Or, I mean, there's a million things you could mention like that. That's how they do it.
Yep.
You don't get money prizes for winning local tournaments. You get money prizes for winning the big tournaments. And then if you could attach some actual money to nationals, people would probably go. I mean, if you held one reasonable size qualifier in every state, and if you got 25 people there and each one of them paid $25 per arm, you'd have more than enough to have decent money prizes, good tables, good refs, everybody paid, and nobody loses money.
Yeah.
Because you still have to pay to enter nationals, I mean, it's a very easy format. I don't see what the problem is. And we already have state tournaments in every goddamn state. So, I mean, you don't have to change anything.
No, not really.
Even if you added $5 to your cost of entry fee, and that's the part that went to the USAF, and you kept everything else for yourself the way you're doing it right now, that'd probably still be enough.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not complicated. We make it seem complicated. Well, we can't do that. We can't do that. But you could do it. We completely could do that. In 1 year, we could do that. All you have to do is reach out and say, listen, we want you to be a USAF. We want you to qualify in order to go to nationals. And yes, Herman is right. The first year, it would probably cut the numbers by a significant margin. But eventually, if we kept it up, it would become a real sport. It would become that's how you get to nationals. That's how you get to worlds.
Well, it's like, how does NCAA do it with, with wrestling and these kind of things, The format's already there.
Right.
We should just be following these things, but
yeah.
And not for lack of effort, there are people who have tried, but you can only go where the athletes go. If the athletes don't show up, then what the fuck?
Our steroid show that we're going to do.
Okay.
So we had various people offer to come on the show to talk openly about steroids, but we have selected 2 people to come do it, and they are Chris Godby and Reza. So they're going to come on our show sometime soon. We're going to schedule it with them based on their availability, and we're going to have a very open conversation about steroids, which all of you guys have been asking for a long time. We basically were waiting for the right guys. I think Craig's going to come on and talk too, but just to have the right people to talk about it. We felt we're knowledgeable enough, and we're not and as we know, neither of those guys are known for their reticence to discuss difficult topics. So I'm looking forward to it because I think everybody knows how I feel, and I think they know how you feel too, which is that it's cheating, it's illegal, you shouldn't fucking do it. But it'll be nice to have some people on and argue with us about it intelligently. And I think people will think these are 2 good guests to do it. And, it's going to be soon, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope everybody's going to watch and share the shit out of it because I want it to be a really cool and interesting discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about tonight at practice where it shouldn't be such a hush-hush thing. In my opinion, it just shouldn't. My opinion of steroids or I'll say performance enhancers have changed over the years. Because let's face it, Josh, we know a lot of people. And they're very good friends of ours. They're people we know very well and people we love. So there's a certain point where it's like, listen, they're not fucking bad people or anything. Am I ever going to take them? No. But, whatever. It's just it's such a secretive thing, and it separates people so much. And it's like, why? But everything does, you know what I mean? It's just another topic.
That's actually a really good point. I mean, if you could bring it up for anything, politics or any kind of religious beliefs or whatever, we might disagree with people about them, but we're still friends. We still like them. We still have them over for dinner. We still go out and hang out with them. We still practice with them. We still invite them, into our basement every week. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't change our opinion about them as a human being. We may feel like it's a mistake and they shouldn't do it. And I think you're right. It is a topic that should be discussed openly. I mean, and we've talked about it a lot in this show, but we've never talked about this side of it. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be, I hope a lot of people watch it and express their opinions because I know there's a lot of people that have them out there. And, I don't know if there would be willing, like you said, to not be so stupid about it and really say, this is your, these are your tested events and these are the non-tested events. This is like natural arm wrestling and this, do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care. But if you come into this one event, we expect you to not be using,
Right, that'd be nice. Herman said it best when he was on the show. I think the first time, I wish there was just a list somewhere where I could just look it up and go, okay, all right, you guys on, all right, okay, you just that'd be nice. But what are you gonna do?
Did you watch Icarus on Netflix?
I did.
everybody should watch that show before our show, so you'll have the context. I mean, Alexei Vovada's in it.
Yeah.
Not for arm wrestling, but he is in it as one of the people that got burned. And the whole thing's incredible. It's really a good watch. And you talk about the level of secrecy. I mean, they went to, Insane. It's like Mission Impossible level stuff that they were doing. I'm not even joking. It's crazy. You got to watch it.
Even if you don't care about steroids, watch it. It's incredible.
Just because it's like, what the fuck? They have, secret teams working on how to open bottles that can't be opened, and they have secret rooms, and they have secret panels in the secret room so things can be passed back and forth, and they have the KGB or the FSB as it's now called office, 100-yard dash away from the testing site so they can run urine samples back and forth. I mean, it's amazing. You got to watch it.
Yep.
And then when you come to watch us, either next week or the week after or whenever we figure out when we're doing it, which we will announce in plenty of time, so don't worry. You can you'll be informed and educated and ready to contribute. And this is probably the show everybody's been asking about the most since we first came on, and so it took us a long time to get to it, but we are in fact going to do it. So we are men of our words.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, we came back.
We said we came back, and we did come back. It took us longer than
100%.
It took us longer than everybody thought, but we are in fact back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
There was literally a time, I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, where you said, Josh, hey, we're supposed to do a show last night.
Yeah, I know.
I said, yeah.
We suck. All right, but we're back. Here's a question from Jonathan Laba, and I have a good answer for this. How do I feel about older guys using TRT? I feel that they should not fucking use TRT, because you get older, you get gray hair, you get wrinkles, you lose muscle mass, you start forgetting shit, and your testosterone goes down. That's what happens when you get older. It's a natural process of aging. Now, if you're 20 years old and you have low T, then yes, you should go to the doctor and get it. But anybody else, it's fucking bullshit. You have low T for a reason. It's because you're old as shit, like me. That's what happens. Deal with it. And that's why I don't hate on master's classes like Gabi does, and I'm gonna give him some shit about that next week too.
Oh shit!
But I don't care what he says. We're old, man. That's what happens. Your testosterone goes down. You got to deal with it. And don't get fucking hair transplants either.
No.
And don't get cold sculpted fat off your body. Just lose goddamn weight. You know what I mean? Stop taking shortcuts. Fuck it. Train on the table. Don't use drugs. But if you want to use drugs, you can come talk about it on our show because we welcome all opinions.
Yeah, fuck it.
Don't be sorry you asked, Jonathan. You enabled me to go on one more rant before we go off air. So actually, I have to say thank you for that because I felt like I was one rant short.
Can I give my opinion on TRT?
Please do.
I don't care about TRT. I care about TAT, testosterone addition therapy. It's not really testosterone replacement if your levels are like fucking 3,000. Okay, it's not. You know what I mean? That's not really replacement at that point. And we know, people have really good doctors. That's the whole thing about that's my only viewpoint on the sport is that it should not be a contest of who has the better fucking chemist. That's it. That's my first, it should be your skills and whatever you bring. It shouldn't be whoever is better, has a better dealer.
Fucking
that's it.
I'm with you, man. We're gonna have some good arguments in the coming weeks. All right, I know you guys are probably like loving everything we're doing. You can't wait, but sadly, I have an hour deadline, so we have 2 more minutes before I have to go. So what are we gonna talk about?
Team USA
pressure. What was it? Team USA. Fucking A, man. Yeah. So nationals in 2 weeks. And after that, you guys can expect a full court press from us because you guys are going to start donating some goddamn money to send our athletes over to Turkey because they're probably going to need it for this visa shit we're going to have to go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to donate a lot of money. Even if you're from Canada, you can still donate to Team USA. And I'm not taking any of the money, so you're not buying me anything. You don't have to worry about buying me a goddamn bag of peanuts because you're not going to. It's going to be for other people. And if we get to $5,000... the very generous Bob Brown is going to give us another $5,000. So
yeah, he's going to match whatever's in there up to $5,000.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. See, now they're going to say you already get $2,500. I wanted to tell them it was only if we get to $5,000.
Oh shit!
So just forget what John said. Donate more money, and
you cheap fucks.
Chris Gobby says he wants to donate money, but all of his money goes to steroid awareness, as in how to take it effectively.
Well, education's key, Chris.
See, Jonathan just noticed you have a new door, too.
Yeah.
So,
it's white.
So much careful attention people pay to art. They've memorized the background. So I'm going to get a new background every day just to screw with people. Like that guy on ESPN who puts up little signs behind him. He changes them every time the camera goes off him. Yeah. We should do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dan Halls is saying he gets liposuction to make 65s. I believe that. I totally believe that.
That's probably true.
And he says he's going to South Bend, which is awesome. I'm glad he's going. Dan's going to do some damage in 65 kilos. I am walking around
65 kilos, holy shit.
So I'm going to make 98's piece of cake. You know who else is going this year? Mike Shalhoub.
Good. 70 kilos, I'm guessing?
Yeah. 54? He's whining about it because he's 160 right now, but he's going to be 154 in 2 weeks. And his right arm is disgustingly strong.
Always
so
is.
So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Always is.
Green. Oh yeah, see John. The green dot. So all right. So we'll be back for real next week. We really mean it.
I don't see why not.
We'll see what the schedule is, but expect the steroid show either next week or the week after, is whatever John and I work out for scheduling. But we will keep you posted either way. Mm-hmm. And thank you very much, guys, for coming back. Because we did miss you, and we appreciate you waiting for us. I know there's a lot of other arm wrestling shows that you can choose to watch instead of ours. But reminding you, we don't have any advertisers. We're not making any money. No. We don't want to make any money. We just do this because we love you guys and we love the sport. And that's it.
Yep. We just like talking shit a lot.
That too.
That's about it.
All right, everybody. Till next week.
All right, you fucking freaks. See you later.